Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth part in Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn with me, Alpha Pi Omega, in Ukraine. So I'm gonna start this episode by talking a bit about my strategy and what I would like to do with Ukraine in the upcoming days, because some of you, in the upcoming days in the real world, in the upcoming months and years in the game, just to clarify. So, many of you have asked me what I want to do if I want to join NATO and the EU. Actually, yes, I would like to join the NATO, just for roleplay reasons, and I would like to join the EU eventually. But I mentioned that, I'm expecting that joining the EU and NATO would mean a completely peaceful playthrough. So I might want to do some sort of I spoke about this before, that we can go the way of interventionism and see if we can stand on our own. But I checked, and joining the NATO seems like a pretty good way for us to get some security and alliance with some of the major European players. Now, NATO aspirant countries, and this is the description of become a NATO aspirant. NATO aspirant countries are states which have shown interest in becoming members of NATO. After showing interest in NATO, we will get a membership action plan which will give us goals to achieve before we are allowed to join. Once the goals are achieved, we can begin accession talks which will require us to get approval from all existing NATO members. So this will be a heavily political influence decision, I guess. We will need to do certain things like, I guess, size of army or equipment. I don't know what it's going to tell us. But after that, I would need to fix the relations with all the other NATO members, which I think is possible, though I'm not sure, for example, relations with Turkey would have to get better and some of the other countries. So, yeah, it's something that I would like to do, but first of all, we need to focus on ourselves. Now, while I have great sympathy for Ukraine, I don't want to make this playthrough into something that it's not. Ukraine has a lot of issues. It has much less issues than it had 2 decades ago, but it's still a bit of a troubled country. There is a rampant corruption, the legal protection of minorities, and the border disputes with Russia are ongoing. So things like that would need to be solved before Ukraine in this game is in any condition to join any of those institutions. So let's hope that we can fix it. Again, we already started working on that. We are going to get the anti-corruption bureau, and we are going to reform our judiciary system and the police reform and stuff like that, which will eventually lead us to being in a much better position. Already our stability is about half higher than it was when we started. We are getting a bit more production. Our budget is in a much better place than it used to be, which is great. We're actually making quite a lot of money. So the taxation of about 20% seems to be right for us. Now I want to pay for more investment into the economy, especially we needed the extra factories to boost our own economy. We're working on the industrial projects. When can we get the... Okay, we can't. So I guess there is a cooldown on getting the extra factories, which makes sense, you cannot just spam that over and over. But yeah, we need to boost our production. Now I'm seeing some sort of cycle here, because now we have 4 factories. At a certain point we had 10. So I think that's based on maybe the time of the year or something like that. I'm not entirely sure how that works. Same with the budget. It keeps oscillating from very low to fairly high and going back down again. Now I wanted to check the technologies for the Navy, because we have our ships that I would like to look into. Okay, so there's just naval here, and there's not much. Oh no, actually there is here. Okay, so they have, in this mod they got both the hull types and And the ship equipment at the same place, because we need to up our ships if they are ever to do something. Now, we're not gonna do that anytime soon, but we're gonna do that eventually. So what about you, Krivak class? How are you doing? Is there anything that we can upgrade there? Okay, helicopter operator. This is the... Wait, no, building the frigate, right? Yeah, the Krivak class frigate. Helipads. There's the... what is it? Front one custom module slot. Anti-submarine missile. I'm not entirely sure that's something that we would want to have. You think that having something like RAM 3 would be much better. This increases surface visibility, but it gives a huge boost to anti-submarine warfare. This one helps with anti-air, which I guess would be much better for us at this point. We have some batteries here. White guns 3, you have white guns 2. So there are ways how we could fix you, but again that would require excessive retooling. So let's wait for the second ship in the class to be built, and then we can decide if we retool our ships. So we found the Naboo, and that changed the... wait, this is lying now, because it already changed it to unrestrained corruption, and that helped with our budget quite nicely. So we have more income now. I'm happy about that. And what do the other things do? Actually, they modify the pro-Ukraine government reforms by giving us extra stability, daily political power gain. Okay, so they do have sense. They do have sense. So let's... yeah, I want to kill the corruption. And for that, we definitely need all of the following. Judiciary system reform and police reform. So let's go with the... what do you do? The police reform, extra stability. Let's reform the police. That has also been a bit of a pain in what I could see. Or is it minimal pension? Where's the... oh, here it is. Basic police and security funding. Actually, we could increase that just by using our political power, but I don't think that's the right choice here. I'm going to actually increase it further. Though I'm not entirely sure if we want to have extensive police and intelligence apparatus. Though it would help with stability, and it does not seem... I don't want to have like a police state or anything. I don't think that is a good idea. But extensive police and intelligence apparatus, considering we're an independent nation locked between East and West, seems like a good idea, maybe. So let's see. Anyway, I was just saying, the Krivak class might need a bit of a reform. Getting better guns on that would be a possibility. On the auxiliary slot, we got anti-aircraft missiles, which, okay, but they could be upped as well. Yeah, the ship could be definitely retooled. The radar could be much, much better. Fire control system. What is this engine? Jet turbine engine or the diesel power engine? Okay, so the jet turbine engine is much better. And we have a white helipad there. Okay, gotcha. So Krivak class is okay, but it could be much better. What other things do we have here? We could get a destroyer and even a helicopter operator, though that one costs like 5 times what the frigate does. And we would have to design it completely from scratch. But I believe that that could be good. Light flight deck. Light flight deck. And that would give a deck size of 24. Okay, so this is basically a carrier. And light guns. Okay, but the cost is already at 26k, so that was just the base cost because this thing has nothing on it. Chain guns or CIWS 2, which is, I think, vertical line VLS surface-to-air missiles and digital integrated fire control system. This makes it, well, it does have some light attack and light piercing, but it's pretty much untouchable by aircraft. But that is how it has surface detection, sub-detection, mine-sweeping. That's an interesting choice, but 25k, yeah, that's six corvettes, and that is something that we cannot just overlook. 6 corvettes are a lot. That is a lot. So what's Germany doing? And we've been already looking at it before. EU fiscal policies. Okay. How are the wars? The Congo war is raging on. Somalia did not move an inch. And I think Liberia hasn't moved an inch. Monrovia. Liberians united for reconciliation and democracy. All these names. What about the Sudan? No, it's still fighting. Actually, they're losing towards regular Sudan. The South Sudan is losing. I actually thought that this war was a prerequisite for the South Sudan formation, but as it turns out, this war really laid the foundation for the South Sudan creation. Like, even though it actually happened like in, I think, 2011 was the South Sudan recognition. It is interesting that this war was what made it. So, okay. Afghanistan is involved in a war. Afghan Northern Alliance, led by Burhanuddin Rabbani. Didn't really have that much income. And you are led by Mohammed Omar. Naval Doctrine Innovation. Now that is something that I would not expect Afghanistan to research, considering it's landlocked. Okay, our opinion of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is extremely bad. I actually haven't checked that. Who do we hate? I checked who do we like, but I did not check who we don't like. Oh, come on. How do I access the diplomacy? Trade, diplomacy. Here it is. Okay, so their opinion of us, we already checked that. What? No, I want to see this. And our opinion of them. Okay, so Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is the only one that we really do hate. Other than that, we have no problem with anyone. But for some reason, in the year 2001, and that is in March, not September, Ukraine really despised Afghanistan. Kind of interesting. Can I see your relations with the world? Intelligent open country list? Yeah, I can't. But I would bet there are some people who don't like it as much as we do. I wonder who they could be. Okay, stability is at 35. Are we still getting the boost? No. Ruling party popularity is increasing it. 31.7%. That's actually way more than the previous party had. Now, Pedro Poroshenko is the president that ruled Ukraine from 2014 until 2019 when he was ousted by the current Mr. President Zelensky. So it's kind of interesting seeing him here at this point. I think that's caused by the game actually putting these presidents to each of the parties. So by getting the SPU coalition with Fatherland and Freedom, we got Poroshenko early. So the police reform has been done. The militia is a relic of the Soviet past. To ensure the real protection of our citizens, we must reformat the old corrupt government organization and in its place create a new, the National Police of Ukraine. I actually have to look into that. I never thought that Ukraine wouldn't have a proper police way into 2000s. Maybe that's not the case, but... Okay, next is the Judiciary system reform, which will give us extra political power gain, stability, construction speed, production efficiency, and cost to change corruption will be lower, which is amazing because that's something that we really need to lower. 600, my god. Okay, we're still in positive numbers and we're actually raking in quite a lot of money. So let's see if we can... Yes, we can release the industrial complexes to get extra production here. Good for us. Let's do that. And... Oh, and just as I did that, we get riots. Okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna use that political power. Let's negotiate with them, making sure that our regime is nice and stable. Okay, 41%, and chances of revolt is 5%. So this should maybe positively influence our stability as well. I'm not entirely sure, but I bet it does. And look at that, the production is no longer completely stagnant. We're actually upgrading some of our airborne APCs. That is good. I might move you to something else. I remember that we... Oh wait, we don't miss anything. That's true. We were missing some of the airplanes, but... Yeah. Su-24 Fencer and a Sukhoi Flanker D. Yeah, those are of Russian origins. We would need to pay for the licensing. Not entirely happy about it. Actually, are we paying for the... No, we're not paying for the small arms. Okay, good. Okay, BTR. Production will take years though, especially the small arms. I might just kill the APC production and put it into small arms later because this is just ridiculous. That's gonna take nearly, what, a decade? More. 30 years to get enough small arms. It's just ridiculous. Same with the other stuff. Okay, but we finished the microprocessors. Good, our first technology. So that allows us to go to microcomputing, which will give us additional 5% boost to research. The theory of microcomputing comes from the introduction of microprocessors to the computing field. The microprocessors' introduction has allowed computers to become more powerful and increase the logic capacity of computers, paving the way for greater usages of personal home computers. Good. In 145 days we're going to get the construction, which is good. And I think once we get the microcomputing, we might switch this one into something else. After construction, I'm going to go for construction 2. Later we're going to go back to excavation. But not for now. Genetic engineering. Wow, okay. But I was thinking we might want to look into land doctrines. Because in case of any combat, this will take... Yeah, they take a while. How's the artillery doing? Peon. There's not much here that we could effectively do. I think this is for special forces, right? Yeah. Okay, that increases the special forces capacity multiplier. I think we're fine there, though. I don't see anywhere listed here. It's kind of interesting. What about this? Enemy air support. Okay, that might be a good thing. I mean, getting some better fixed-winged aircraft would be my first choice. Light strike fighters, trainers. There are no proper interceptors here, are there? Yeah, such as bombers and air doctrines. Wow, we have much to research, quite honestly. I could just go ahead and buy the regular equipment, but I didn't see anything like aircraft, just foreign arms market, infantry tab, and those are utility vehicles, APCs, IFVs, recon and light tanks. Yeah, I guess we might have to just do this and bite the bullet and buy foreign tanks. Though we do have enough in reserve, don't we? I think tanks weren't something that we really... Yeah, we got 3,500 main battle tanks in reserve. Though I ribbed out... Yeah, T-64s, T-72s, T-80s. That's the same thing that we actually... And I don't know how the T-64 would perform. We can check that, but that's gonna be... Don't laugh. Don't laugh, that's not nice. So the T-64 compared to the T-84, which is something that I hope to get. Okay, defense is not that bad. Only 3 points lower. Breakthrough 3 points lower. Soft attack 3 points lower. Damn, actually that's not such a big difference. The hard attack is a huge difference though. 33 compared to 42. Armor 21 to 33. Piercing 52. Yeah. These things, around 2015 they started using the composite armor and stuff like that, so I think there's going to be a huge jump somewhere around here. Don't know. Actually don't. So as far as tanks go, I think we might be fine. And one APCs. And one IFVs. Recon tanks and light tanks. That might be useful. Well, we definitely need to buy the utility vehicles, though. That's just sad. But again, if we get our economy rolling, we can just keep buying those from the international market. Many countries do that. They don't research their own, and I'm okay with that. What I really fear, though, is our airspace. So strike fighters, ground attack rolls. That's not motor fighters or air superiority vehicles. Are you an interceptor? Yeah, you are. So SU-27UB. What's the difference between you and you? Air defense of the... Jesus Christ, now that is a difference. Look at that. Yeah, okay, that's why we need to build a strong air force. Agility, meh, but air defense and air attack. Okay, I guess we might want to go to get the Sukhoi 27 UB at least. Maybe even go straight for the 57, because that would be something I would appreciate. MiG-40 flatback. Foxglove. Or maybe just go with the motor roll, because having just the interceptors wouldn't really be that good for us. I mean we could do it, but it's not something that I would feel particularly good about. Okay, so construction is going 18th of May 2002, so in about a year we're going to get that, and we just got the judiciary system reform. The current court system is not able to effectively carry out the penalties imposed on it. It's a reform. Wait, what? Oh, okay, that's a mistake, there's a typo. It's reform, is an urgent need to build a legal and democratic state. Okay, so now let's go with the anti-corruption action plan, which will bump the corruption down from 7 to 6 to systematic corruption. So let's get that one and see how that's gonna work for us. Okay, so we are bleeding out money again. But not much, we saved a bit. And this reduction in corruption will give us additional, what, 15%? 5%. Okay, so from minus 20 to minus 15, which is still pretty good. That would put us at positive numbers now, at least make sure that we don't lose. Stability at 40 is also a nice breath of fresh air. I kind of like that. And even though we're losing money a bit, I'm going to invest a bit in the economy if I can. Oh, okay. So the prices went up. Well, still, let's go with the infrastructure or industrial projects. Construction speed will be increased by 25%. That's going to help a bit. I could modify the government, huh? I don't think these things will help us anyway. What is fixed wing aircraft research? Or Antonov heavy aircraft manufacturer? Heavy aircraft research, ground attack. Yeah, those are for bombers though. That's not something I'm looking forward to. KMDB, infantry weapon manufacturer. Weapon research, soft attack and reliability of soft arms is increased by 10%. That's actually pretty good, and 21% is a decent amount. Officer military schools, officer military academy, military leader cost plus 70%, military wages plus 20. How much are we paying for military? Education defense 0.14. It would give us extra army experience. I think that in the next episode I'm gonna go over, or in between episodes I'm gonna go over the army and see if we want to add anything to our units. Now there are things like tank companies that we could definitely do, considering how much tanks we have in storage, so it would make our units much better. But some of these are really. I'll have to really look into them or build my own basically and start changing templates and stuff like that. It's gonna be a bit of a hassle, but it's gonna be worth it, I can tell you. And we could go with temporary tax cuts. Tax rate increased. And raising military factories is not something I would want to get. Okay. Increase election threshold, pro-Western propaganda. You know what? We could start combating foreign influence. Russia got 114. I'm still not sure. I think we're sitting at the same thing. So let's combat foreign influence and hope that we can increase our independence. Let's go with the support campaign to increase the stability of our regime. We want to make sure there's nothing threatening us. And let's do a pro-West propaganda campaign. Now that is a bit of money, but I feel good about our current situation. And with the corruption going down, we'll be fairly fine. Right? Yeah, look at that. We're making money again. So, cool. Even though the debt has already gone to $30.63 billion, and yeah, the debt rate is 0.003, so we're starting to pay a bit of interest on that. Not much by a long shot, but it is something. It is something. So let's speed it up and look at that anti-corruption action plan. I like that it gives us stability, research speed. We're gonna get at at the level 41, which is gonna be good. Military industry output increased by 2% as well. Counterintelligence will be increased, and foreign subversive activities efficiency will be lowered by 4% as well, which is good. So, yeah. Okay, local protests. Okay, we can crack down on them, but I think I'm gonna... Okay, let's let them protest, but I would really like to make sure that we keep the protest chance fairly low. 46 is the stability of the regime now. Chances of revolt is 7%. If we can get somewhere to like stability of the regime like 70%, I might start cracking down on some of the protest movements, saving up that precious political power, because that seems like a good idea. That seems like a good idea. Okay, so the Krivak class will be done in a couple more months. Actually, not a couple more months, in about a month. That's good. So let's make it just one and see if we can upgrade our ships to the new class. Okay, 10 more days before we get the anti-corruption plan. So let's do a little look around the world, what's happening here and there. Okay, Afghanistan still amidst the war. Africa still amidst the war everywhere. Damn, no movement. I think South Sudan actually lost a bit of territory. Liberia fighting exactly the same way. By the way, Freetown was heavily, and I mean heavily, devastated by this war. Number of civilian casualties, it wasn't pretty. I don't recommend googling pictures of what the town looked like. It was a horror show. Okay, so the anti-corruption action plan is in place. Corruption is a normal thing in Ukraine. The most glaring example of it will be our active general staff. Ukraine, at its peak, had nearly 450 generals, some of whom have never served a day in a soldier's life. We should focus on undoing the corruption that is now normal in our... Okay, we should focus on undoing the corruption that is now normal in our society. Cool. So that made it good, and now we can deal with the oligarchs if we want to. That would give us extra political power, change the popularity of non-aligned by 10%, would give us additional stability, war support, construction speed. But the oligarchs would become hostile towards our president, so I don't think we have to actually hurt them at this point that much. Familiar rule. Okay, but I'm not ready to go with the Revolution of Dignity yet. So let's see if we can go, and this should have increased a bit our income. It seems like it did. So let's go with an educational reform here that helps with divisional organization, construction speed, research speed, reader experience gain, and it gives us additional stability, war support, construction speed, or healthcare reform, monthly population division, recovery rate, direct political. Now let's go with education first, and there's there's another one. Invest in National Academy of Sciences and then the SSAU, both giving us extra boost to research. So we might want to go with those first, and then we can actually, double down a bit on this whole political stuff and go with the Ukrainian industrialization, getting some of those extra factories, steel, and... Hey, wait, is that the precious... No, that's light metals. The technology metals, can we get those? That is steel and light metals, right? Yeah, but no technology manuals. If we could find those there, that would be nice, but I don't think that's actually doable. Civilian industry project would grant civil industry. Hey, that's actually pretty good. Automobile industry, car license, and we gain 1 research slot. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go focus a bit more on economy in the upcoming episodes after we finish the reform of education and the National Academy of Sciences and the SSAU, so that we get, well, actually maybe just the educational reform and the healthcare reform, because that will help us with stability. We're gonna pay a bit more for that, but I can just try to increase the taxes, and then we can do the industry, at least some of it, before we go with the revolution of dignity, because we're still far away from the time it being right for that. So let's start with the educational reform, and I'll see you in the next episode. Yeah, Stability 41. Isn't that just lovely?